Hello, everybody. Well, last time we met, we had extreme cold. I was questioning whether or not this Ford Fusion hybrid will survive the harsh winter. But as you can see, things are looking up quite well. We have the super negative 25, 28, whatever it was, is gone. We have just normal kind of relatively mild winter here. As you can see, there's a little patches of snow here and there still left, but nothing to the extremes that we were having. And that's kind of what I was waiting for the next chapter, which is, what I love about this Ford Fusion hybrid that I'm now driving from the, from coming out of my 2006 Lincoln Town Car. And look, I am talking to the person who reached out to me right now, who said that he reached out to me saying, hey, I bought your Lincoln Town Car. So dude, if you are watching, I sent you my email address. Please reach out to me. I would love to, to talk to you about your experience buying my 2006 Lincoln Town Car, because you did confirm that you bought it from the same dealership, and they try to hide a bunch of the problems with the car that I outlined in all my videos, which is nothing new. I mean, dealerships, they lie and they steal to make a deal. I don't know why they feel like they have to do that. I'm sure there's an honest way to make a living selling cars. I'm sure there's plenty of people who do it. But anyway, if you're watching this and you like my videos, reach out to me. Look at that comment that you left. I left you my email address, because especially if you're somewhere local to me, I'm in the northern Illinois suburb, I would love to meet with you. I would like to get your experience, if I can, captured on video and posted. And I would love to see my town car again, and maybe do a little comparison video or something. But anyway, I'm down to that. I think it's super cool. But anyway, a bunch of you who responded to my last video, well, actually not a bunch, but a few of you responded saying, hey, if you hate this car, right? Because my last video was things that I hate about this Ford Fusion, and I know hate is a strong word. It gets views. When somebody hates something, humanity is somehow drawn to it. Yeah, several of you said, well, what did you expect? It's not a town car. You're going to hate it. No, I don't hate it. But there are things that I hate about it. But look, it's not any different than, things I hate about living in a condo building, right? Would I prefer to have a house? Yes, but there's also things that I love about it. So this video is going to be about what I love about this 2020 Ford Fusion. And I'll be honest with you, yes, I do miss the town car every once in a while, but ultimately we must move on. Right? I will always be kind of an older car guy that I would prefer to drive one, but look, the reality sets in, and there's stuff that I love about it. So here's my video about what I love about it. Then let's start from the basics, from the outside. I love how it looks. I think this looks pretty cool for a modern car with some modern style, and with this Aston Martin inspired grille. I think it's a beautiful design. Looking through this parking lot, right, which is your very typical, very lower middle class type of deal, like this Volkswagen Passat looks very generic. Even that Lexus over there looks kind of generic. What about that Corolla, that Versa, I think that's an Altima. Here's another Corolla. Here's a bunch of cars. I mean, don't even get me started on the CR-V and all the other cars. I think it looks pretty cool. I love how it looks. I love the little thin headlights. I would love for this thing to have fog lights instead of these blanks right here. But you know what? As I mentioned before, it's a basic car. It's a basic trim level. But I love how it looks. I love how they integrated the badge here in the front. The wheels, they are rims, they're not hubcaps, even though it's a base model. I really love to have my mirrors right here on the door instead of here in this little triangle. I kind of like it. I love it. I like it. Going to the side, I think the side is okay. The rear, yeah, they could have done a little bit better. The rear, it's kind of basic. But I also looked at some of the older, so this is a 2020, the last year of production, and they had different rears. So like as this car got facelifted a little bit, they kind of introduced these chromey bits here. I think it looks good. I think before it looked kind of very bland, but in general, from the rear, I it's okay. But from the front, I really love how it looks. And also, I'm trying to think back to like what cars existed around 2020 that I would love, sedans. Camrys, no. Accords, no. The closest I could think of is probably a Chrysler 200, which I'll be honest with you, I considered at one point. I think at 2020, though, the Chrysler 200 was already discontinued, but I kind of think that, this thing kind of looks close to a Chrysler 200, which I also like. So as far as like all the other common cars, I think this is like the Altima. Oh, there's an Altima right there. You see that? Which doesn't really have a whole lot of, design style either. I think it's an attractive car, honestly. So it's from the modern cars, I kind of like how it looks as a sedan. Would I prefer a town car instead? Yes, I think town car looks better. But from a modern car, once again, kind of like it. Even some of these lines on the hood and so forth, and like this. Anyway, okay, enough of that. Now, last video, I mentioned how I hated these wipers because all of a sudden I cannot buy myself a cheapo wiper anymore. These cost about $12 a piece. And I said, whatever happened to having an ability to get cheap wipers? But you know what? I think I'm going to retract that statement because here's why. When it was super cold outside, then I realized these things, they don't freeze. Now, I shouldn't say they don't freeze at all, but there's a lot less chance of this thing freezing. And what I'm talking about is being solid frozen to the windshield. Whoops, right there. Than they would have been had they been a standard, $4 or $5 windshield wiper. So when it was super cold, and even though the washer jets has froze, so even though I put the -20 fluid in there, is that I was able to use my windshield wipers even though it was like -28 outside, which I could not have dreamed of using had they not been this one piece solid, rubberized kind of design, because all the linkages on a standard windshield wiper would have frozen. And because this car has all these little sensors embedded into them, well, I don't know how much you can see, but you can kind of see the big housing. I think that's why they went with this design, is to make sure that you're able to clean off all the snow and ice and dirt, whatever else builds up on it, so you could get the smart radar. Okay, well, you can kind of see it through here. Yeah, this bigger housing right there. And you're able to use it because guess what? This car is smart enough to know if one or more of the sensors are blocked, it will display, hey, your front collision avoidance system is unavailable. Your smart cruise is not available. You see this little thing right here. This is the front collision warning. So if it thinks you're about to hit somebody, it will start flashing and beeping at you. So I think that's why they were able. They need these wipers. Okay, there's some guys coming up to me, so I will pause. All right, they were just walking past me, and one of the guys said, "Nice car." All right, very, very weird, but why not? All right, you see, even other guys are thinking that this is a nice car. All right, so let's come inside. Let's see what we have on the inside. All righty. See, I still keep it kind of nice and clean. All right. So let's start us up inside. I like the black interior. I actually love the black interior. And looking at this, I think I mentioned this before. Yeah, I do wish that some of these little pieces were wood. I still love my wood. Or like right here in the middle or to the side. And yes, I know that, they made a Lincoln MKZ version that had a little splashes of wood, especially like right here, because they do share, I think, the steering wheel. Even though Lincoln steering wheel, I think it had like leather covering with stitching, and this little wood piece was wood. This one isn't. It's the base model, and even though if this was the titanium trim, they would not have had wood, so that's just the Ford thing. But anyway, I love the black interior. My town car was beige, like tan. I think the one I had before, the Hyundai Elantra, was like gray, which I liked more. I had a Toyota Camry, which was tan, but then I had a Buick LaCrosse that was black. I always prefer a black interior or a gray interior if black is not an option. This one is all black. I love it. It's missing a little of the finer things, and look at all the dust and fingerprints on the screen. But I love it. For all it's worth, I love it. All right, let's start this thing up. Let's talk about the obvious stuff. So, all right, we're powering itself on. Got the displays here. All right, ready to drive. We're going to clear this off. Guys, I love this average MPGs. I never owned a hybrid. I never owned any car but the gasoline. I've never owned a car that gets 42.5 miles per gallon. Now, and you see we're running. We're okay. The current with the car has 40,245. I bought it with about 39,000 something. I don't remember. So let's say I put probably about 600 miles on it altogether. Look at my average MPGs. Now, this is not an MPG king. I know there's other cars out there that can focus. There you go. That will have way better. But for a mid-size sedan that doesn't look like a weird hybrid thing, it looks like, we already established that. I like how it looks. It looks like a normal car, a good-looking one of that. I love this MPGs. Now, during the super cold weather, I was questioning whether or not, geez, okay, what's gonna happen with this thing? And it performed fine. Now, I ran this thing pretty hard. I would start it up. By the way, I love the phone app that allows me to remote start this car. And I was beating it up. Like, obviously, the heat, I was blasting heat all the way. And it was getting around 35 miles per gallon. So even though I beat it up quite a bit, it will still get 35. So, yeah, I mean, come on. See, why can't it focus? I guess, okay, it needs a point of reference. There you go. So my town car was getting 18 miles a gallon on a good day. And I know some of you were saying there's something wrong with your town car, blah, blah, blah. You should have been getting 22, 25. Yeah, that just wasn't the case. Not with my luck. Right? Call it what you will. But here's a living proof. I learned to live with this eco feature right there. But here's what happens with it. Right here. That's the button right here. Sorry for all the dust, I guess, on a black car. And on a sunny day, it all reflects back. This eco feature, all it does limit your RPMs. And it does control the HVAC system. The heat was not coming out really hot. So I did turn it off during the super cold times. And yes, I did get the much hot air, especially to defrost the windshield. Oh, God, there's somebody walking in shorts. It's 36 degrees right now. But anyway, that's how I was able to get about 35. So it dropped MPGs quite a bit. But on your typical day when it's not super cold, and I'm assuming when it's not super hot, because ultimately at some point, it will be like, 35, 40 degrees for those rare days. Here, let's turn this off. So I'm assuming it will mess around with your AC settings. You will not get as cold of an AC, which, by the way, I never tested an AC here. I kind of tested the compressor. I turned it on. I heard the compressor kick in. And I do plan on taking this car at some point to my mechanic just for an overview, just to get, for an inspection. Now, you would think I would have done that before purchasing the car. But once again, I didn't want to waste any time, only because I know this car was purchased pretty much with 2,000 miles. The guy who drove it, he was fine. He did not really beat this thing up. So I'm not super concerned, but I do also want to do a few little things here and there. So we'll figure that out. But anyway, yeah, the mileage, yeah, you cannot beat the mileage. Now, this is not a Tesla. This is not a Tesla. Sorry, not a Tesla. And this is as good of a gas mileage that I got in any of the vehicle. I'm sure there is a Toyota Prius C out there that can beat this thing. There's probably a current Toyota Prius that can beat that. But you know what? I would rather be driving this car with this gas mileage, even though there's probably others that can squeeze out probably another 5 to 8 miles a gallon. Because this, to me, looks like a normal car. It behaves like a normal car. It has a lot of equipment. And I couldn't be happier that now I put half a tank of gas every 2 weeks, which I've done this a couple days ago. And look at the range. Boom, right there. The last time I refueled, I guess the last time before last time, was about 2 weeks ago. And I put, let's see, now I only drove 31 miles, but I drove well over 400 miles. And I've only put like $33 worth of gas in it. So, yeah. I mean, on a town car, forget about it. Forget about it. Not going to happen. All right. Enough about the gas mileage and the savings that this thing causes. I love this setup. I love this screen. This dual screen. I love all the modern features. Shit. There you go. Sorry. I love all the modern features. Here, I'm going to focus on that screen. I love the tire pressure monitoring system. I know a lot of times it was like, well, you don't have to worry about the sensor going on. But you know what? It's a modern thing. Modern cars require it for the gas mileage. I love all this dual screen stuff. We'll go on a little test drive. I learned how to use, I think, this gauge, which I'll show you how it works. And then I still got my RPMs. But yeah, all the features, all the little things, all the information and the settings, I kind of love it, right? It's a modern car. It needs to have all this stuff to be attractive. And I think it is. Same thing here. I got my entertainment. I got my phone. Town car did not have a phone integration. My nav. I know the Town car had a nav. But this is a modern nav. The compass, the fuel economy. Yeah, I mean, the leaves. Yeah, all that stuff. That's kind of... it's not necessary, but I love the fact that now I get into the car, my phone connects. Here, my 23S Ultra, here's all the context. It does have wired Apple CarPlay, and I'm sure it has Android Auto, and I'm sure it has Apple CarPlay too. So it has that. Got my nav, got everything connected, so got my contacts. And I mentioned in the previous video, yes, it's not super duper fast, it's not super duper modern. But you know what? It's here, right? It's a 2020 car with all the 2020 conveniences. No, I wish it had the heated seats. Yes, I really do. Leather, I'm not super, gung-ho about leather. But I would have loved to have the heated seats. Yes, I would have loved it to have a sunroof. But once again, it's a base car, which I bought it for $15,000. Can't really complain. But yeah, all of it is here. I sit down, I have my smart cruise control, which once again, on a basic car, it's super cool. Got my phone settings. I got my, it doesn't want to focus through the steering wheel. There you go. I got my lane keep assist, which I don't use, but it's there. I love my, automatic windshield wipers. I use that feature all the time. This is the one thing that doesn't work is I can't turn off. See, I mentioned this before. There's something stuck in there. I can't turn off my headlights for whatever reason. I'm afraid of breaking it. But you know what? I leave it on auto. Don't care. And here's the thing. For the first time in a long time, with the exception of this little off feature, I can proudly say I have a car where everything works. I can get my heat. I can get my AC, hopefully, when the sun starts shining hot. Got everything. I even got the dual thing glove box, which is actually much bigger than on the town car. Yeah, so everything works. I don't have to worry about it. I'm not super concerned that I'm gonna come out and it's not gonna start one day. Yeah, you can argue the fact that how long is it gonna last? Is it gonna last as much as the town car will? I'm not sure. Time will tell. But you know what? Hopefully, between all the money I save at the gas pump, between all the money that I won't dump in the town car to get it fixed, because I was thinking about it the other day. I'm like, man, I bought the town car for $7,000. But I've probably put like $20,000 in it over the course of 4 years. So was it really just a cheap $7,000 town car? No, it's not. It wasn't. So we'll see. We'll see where this thing brings us. We're gonna go on a little drive, is because I want to show you how I learned how this gauge in particular works, and I want to buckle up because otherwise it's gonna it might throw it off. All right. So yeah, speaking of convenient features, there you go. Got a backup camera, and this car has a sensor array, which I did not expect. So here you go. So we're backing up. Plus, I need to repark this. All right, we are, and I'll try to focus it on that screen. All right, so we're driving. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I think I have to switch the displays. So we're driving on our typical parking lot. Got the Elantra. Somebody has a charger. Oh, there you go. This one, Empower. So you see kind of how that here. Let me focus in here. There you go. All right, focus. I'm gonna lock in the focus, hopefully. You see that little tiny bar? And I hope I won't run over anybody. I learned how to use that, and this is kind of like what will make us feather the throttle. So look at this. As I push on the gas, that little bar raises. If I exceed the acceleration of that little bar, and I'm so sorry, this is not a good filming. Whoa. All right, we have somebody trying to park. So if I don't exceed the acceleration of this, it will keep in the battery mode. So I couldn't understand how this display works. What is it trying to show me? But you know what? We're cruising. I mean, we're not going very fast. But during traffic or during coasting, what are we doing? What do we got? What is happening, Lexus? Oh, wow, I didn't realize. Oh, you see, it's gonna keep the battery. It's gonna keep the battery on. Now, as the battery gets depleted, that little bar gets smaller. But as you're driving, here, let me just stop. So you see, so now it's on the gasoline side. So, but if it switches as the battery recharges, yeah, I see. So now it's switched into the gasoline mode. But basically, sorry, this didn't go as planned. Here, I'm gonna just repark. But anyway, that little display will show you how much battery reserve you have. Here you go. There you go. I'm just gonna stop in the middle. There's nobody around. You see? And as you recharge the battery, that little bar gets taller, which basically means it can tolerate a little bit faster acceleration on the battery. But now that bar is a little low, only because I've been sitting in the car for some time. But if I drive, let's say on the highway, or if I drive, normal speed, that bar will get taller, and it will allow you to drive faster on the battery power alone. So once again, I think it's kind of cool. I like it. Yeah, right now it's barely there because the battery's depleted from me just sitting in the car with it on, and plus the little driving we did. So yeah, so I learned how to drive this car pretty economically. Now, I'm not super, trying to get it to its maximum miles per gallon, because at the same time, I just want to drive. I don't care too much about it because it's, again, at its worst, it got me 35 miles per gallon. Yeah, and the little things, I learned how to like this. I may not be super about it, but here you go. 0.3 miles, 0.2 drove on EV mode. My average fuel use is 33 miles per gallon. Yeah, brake score 0, I guess. I didn't drive very efficiently. There, yeah, so little stuff I learned how to live with. And also the rear space, yeah, it's not super spacious, but at the same time, it was doing fine. All right, guys, for the final, I'm just going to mention this is a ski bed. I already mentioned it before. I love this thing. I think this is one of the greatest Ford things out there. I don't know why more cars are not utilizing it, but I use that thing all the freaking time. And here it is. You got both of our vehicles. Don't know what's going to happen with that one. Maybe someday we will trade it up to like a bigger Subaru, for example, or something else. We could use a little bit bigger vehicle because now my car's, relatively small. That car's not super big either, but yeah. But in any case, there's plenty to love here, guys. I will keep you posted. Maybe not as often as before, because ultimately, this car is a tool for me. I don't have a super strong, mental connection to it, but I get out of my house, I walk up to it, it starts, it drives, It gets me the modern conveniences. Hopefully it won't break, but if it will, guess what? More material for you, for YouTube. If I decide to get rid of, if we decide to get rid of this car, I'll post something, because I love car content. I don't know, that's just me. But yeah, ultimately, I love this car. I mean, yes, there's stuff that I hate about it, but it's, again, hate, and it's a strong word made more for the views. So overall, everything is good. I hope everything is good with you guys. See you next time.